Left alone in the freezing night, Emma wasn't just facing Montana's brutal cold. She was feeling the frost of betrayal from the people who once called her family. The SUV didn't just drive away with luggage, it took with it her trust, her hope, and everything she once believed was left out in the moment she was forced out of the car, under the lonely glow of a gas station light and the sting of snow against her face. Emma realized a painful truth. Sometimes the ones who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. Picture this. You're standing at a gas station on a desolate Montana highway. The fluorescent lights above flicker, buzzing faintly like they're the only heartbeat left in the world. Snowflakes fall, slow and indifferent. Your coat isn't thick enough, your hands are shaking, but not from the wind. You're trembling because the SUV that just drove off carried your family, your fiancé, your father, and they didn't forget you. They chose to leave you just an hour ago. You were the dependable one, the peacemaker, the giver, the woman who carried everyone else's burdens. Now, your breath fogs the freezing air as the red glow of taillights fades into blackness. One question pounds louder than your heartbeat. Was I ever truly loved, or just tolerated until I became inconvenient? You call your mom, voicemail. You want to scream, to run, to disappear. But all you can do is stand there frozen inside, and out listening to the snow crunch beneath your boots and the voice inside whispering a truth you've tried to ignore for years. Maybe you were always alone. This is Emma's moment of collapse, but also her beginning dot, because sometimes it takes being shattered to realize what you're truly made of. This isn't just a story of abandonment, it's the awakening of a woman who, left behind in the coldest night of her life, begins to burn with a fire that no one saw coming just moments ago. Emma had thought she was still part of something, a family, a future with her fiancé, a life where she mattered. Yet now, the echo of distant taillights disappearing into the night was proof of her crushing solitude. The people who once promised to love and protect her had instead become strangers. Her fingers shook as she fumbled with her phone, desperation rising with every unanswered call and the cold, robotic voice of voicemail. Each failed attempt to connect became another nail in the coffin of trust. Emma's mind spiraled. Asterisk, how could they abandon me? Where did all the warmth go? Was I ever truly seen by those I called family? Asterisk memories flooded in uncontrollably her sister's laughter. That once comforted now felt like cold blades. The hollow pride on her mother's face for Megan, the distant, dismissive glances of her father. Each recollection gnawed at her, a relentless reminder of the invisible walls built over years of neglect and favoritism. In the silence of the gas station, two figures emerged, Lucia and Gabriel, a kindly couple of truck drivers familiar with the lonely stretches of the highway. Their concerned eyes met Emma's, sensing the raw pain beneath her guarded facade. Gabriel tried to break the ice, offering small talk, but Emma, wrapped tight in pride and fear, found herself retreating, muttering, "I'm fine, just waiting for someone." This fleeting encounter, though brief, became a turning point. In their presence, Emma glimpsed an unfamiliar compassion, a stranger's empathy that contrasted sharply with the cold indifference she'd faced all night. It whispered a fragile hope. Maybe help could come from the unexpected. Yet, beneath that hope simmered a storm of anguish and defiance. The betrayal ran deeper than abandonment on a snowy night. It was the unspoken message echoed over years, the unwelcome daughter overshadowed by a favorite sister, the unacknowledged achievements, the silent dismissals dot as Emma stared into the darkness, clutching a lukewarm coffee offered by Earl, the gas station clerk who had silently watched her struggle. She felt the first flicker of something quietly fierce. Painful, yes, but beneath it, a seed of resilience. That night wasn't just an end, it was the bitter, raw beginning of Emma's journey to reclaim her story. And just beyond the cold gas station lights, the memories and wounds of her past awaited her. Past she would need to face before she could truly rise. From here, Emma's story delves into the roots of her invisibility within her own family, revealing layers of childhood pain, favoritism, and the long-held silence that shaped her. It's this foundation that sets the stage for the profound betrayal she will uncover and ultimately the strength she will summon to rise from those very ashes. The story of Emma's cold Montana night is deeply entwined with the childhood shadowed. By feeling unseen, a daughter perpetually overshadowed, living in the silence left by those who should have cared the most. This chapter is not just a recounting of events, but an emotional excavation of a heart growing up invisible in a family that cherished one child while neglecting the other dot from the earliest memories. Emma learned that her worth was measured against the glow cast by her sister Megan. Her achievements, no matter how exceptional, were met with polite nods that quickly turned to comparisons or dismissals. Imagine a birthday party. The cake bears Megan's name, large and colorful, center. Stage. Emma's smaller, almost hidden, in a muted corner of the table symbolic of what she internalized about her place in the family dotted school. Emma was a quiet achiever, winning awards and participating in contests, yet the celebration was never for her. When she triumphed, her mother's tired smile came with a caveat. "That's good, honey, but don't be too intense. Megan needs more support." These words stung with the weight of invisibility, shaping an early lesson that Emma's successes were secondary, almost inconvenient. Emma's internal world simmered with conflict. She sought approval not just from teachers or friends, but desperately from the ones whose love should have been unconditional. In family dinners and gatherings, conversations orbited around Megan's small victories and dramas. Emma's voice often went unheard, or worse, was subtly silenced by veiled remarks like, "Emma, why are you so serious? Lighten up." These moments crystallized a painful truth. She was seen as the strong one, the rock, expected to hold it all together without complaint or care. The silence was more than neglect. It was a constant erosion of her self-worth. At 16, a breaking point came. In a storm of frustration, Emma yelled at her father, "Why don't you ever ask how I am? I only exist when there's a problem to fix." The reply was cold indifference. "Don't make a drama, Emma. You're strong. Just let Megan have her moment." Rather than breaking her, the years of invisibility forged Emma's resilience. She buried her pain beneath a mask of discipline and achievement, turning hurt into ambition. She became the dependable daughter, the hard worker, the quiet problem solver traits valued but never celebrated. Her closest friends noticed the sadness behind her smile. Carla, a university friend, often pressed gently, "Emma, why do you never talk about your family?" Emma's reply was a forced smile. "It's easier not to." Yet even in the deep shadows of neglect, Emma began to find small flickers of hope. Friendships, moments of genuine connection, and personal victories. outside the family bubble showed her that recognition could come from chosen bonds. She started understanding that her value was not dictated by family approval, but by her own growing sense of self. Carla, the confidant, a university friend who senses Emma's hidden pain, encouraging her to express her feelings and acknowledging her worth beyond family, labels David, the father. His dismissive attitude and favoritism anchor the family's dysfunction, creating a complex figure of authority and emotional distance. Linda, the mother, torn between fatigue and favoritism. She reinforces Megan's spotlight, inadvertently deepening Emma's invisibility. Megan, the sister, the favored sibling, whose indirect and direct actions confirm Emma's feelings of exclusion, shaping much of Emma's internal conflict. This tangled web of childhood and visibility sets the emotional stage for the devastating revelation that will soon shatter Emma's world. The wounds of years ignored, silenced, and overlooked are no longer hidden. They are about to surface in their rawest form as Emma prepares to uncover the true extent of betrayal. We dive deeper into the dynamics that allowed this facade to endure and the personal strength she must summon to confront it. The roots of her invisibility will both haunt and fuel her fight for justice and self-reclamation. This section not only uncovers the emotional landscape of Emma's youth, but also paints a broader picture of the family dynamics, reinforcing viewers' understanding and empathy. It invites the audience to reflect on their own experiences with neglect, recognition, and self-worth, setting a powerful tone for the unfolding story. Her shared home grows heavier than the Montana snow outside. Every shadow seems to whisper secrets. Every memory tinged with suspicion she can no longer ignore. Inside the dim house, Emma's hands shake as she notices her fiancé Robert's laptop, flickering, still logged in, beckoning her into the forbiddance. Guilt and fear wrestle for dominance, but the slow burn of betrayal pushes her forward. Do I want the truth? Or is it safer to pretend? She wonders, staring at the screen as if it might bite. With each tentative click, new wounds open. Hidden chats between Megan and Robert, her sister, and her fiancé spill onto the screen with digital cruelty. Inside jokes at her expense, coded promises, secret celebrations that cut like knives. Their happiness, built on her exclusion, is undeniable. But there's worse still. Emails appear like landmines, her parents, complicit, comforting Megan, encouraging the charade, rationalizing the unforgivable. Emma's heart fractures. The betrayal is total a conspiracy of silence and selfishness by those bound to love her. In the blue glow of the monitor, her entire life is rewritten in real time, every past doubt confirmed, every ache justified. The ground seems to split beneath her. A storm gathers in Emma: grief, rage, humiliation. Driven to the edge, she confronts the emptiness of the house, replaying old family conversations now tainted with bitter truth. She imagines facing Robert. Why? Was I ever enough or just convenient? But he's not there, and neither is Megan. Only their absence answers back cold. Indifferent. Final tears stream without warning as she throws a photo frame across the room. The crash echoes, the shattering inside her. Through agony, Emma realizes this is not the fallout of one bad night. It's the culmination of a lifetime of being overlooked, unchosen, unworthy. Her pain crescendos when an unexpected knock rattles the door. Rachel, her steadfast friend, steps in without asking, arms ready to gather the fragments. No words are needed. In Rachel's silent support, Emma finds a fragile anchor, a reminder that chosen family sometimes saves us where blood can destroys Dot as dawn pierces the gloom. Other voices join the chorus. A gentle text from Carla, her friend from university, asks simply, "Are you okay?" Earl, the gas station clerk, leaves a voicemail. "Remember, sometimes family is what you make along the way." Each small gesture is a thread weaving hope into her unraveling tapestry. Even as Emma faces the indignity of betrayal, these outside hands begin to lift her from despair. The realization lands steady and hard. Pain is inescapable, but remaining in its chains is a choice. Paralyzed by exhaustion, yet electrified by the searing truth, Emma stands at a crossroads. Will she let the cruelty define her, or reclaim her own narrative? Amid the ruins of trust, the seed of determination takes root. She collects the evidence, messages, emails, memories, knowing that the fight ahead is not just for justice, but for self-worth. As the chapter closes, Emma steps away from the ruins of her old life and toward the unknown. The ache of betrayal will shape her, but not finish her. Somewhere past grief and fury lies the start of a new quest for personal justice, dignity, and a life redefined on her own terms. And so, Emma steels herself for the legal and personal battles to come, ready to confront those who wronged her, not just to reclaim what was lost, but to forge a future where she can never again be made invisible. The dawn after devastation rarely arrives with warmth. For Emma, it begins as a dull gray heavier than the betrayal, almost silent except for the slow thud of her own pulse. She sits on the edge of Rachel's couch, still clutching the fragments of truth, the messages, the photos, the digital wounds that do not bleed but leave her raw dot in the echoing quiet. A single, unrelenting question churns at her core. Who am I now that everything I believed is gone? Everyday routines become acts of defiance. Pouring coffee, Emma's hands still shake, her mind replaying slights from childhood and last night's sorrows. In the mirror, she no longer recognizes the woman, reflected there red-eyed, lost, both brittle and unyielding. Emma's thoughts swing wildly between anger and despair, but the smallest acts, answering Rachel's gentle, "Eat something," replying to Carla's encouraging texts, allowing kindness enduring her lowest moments, become victories. These gestures do not erase her pain, but they stitch strength where only emptiness lived before. Emma discovers with a mixture of shame and gratitude that she is not truly alone. Her next step is not vengeance. It's survival. Emma channels her pain into purpose, seeking work, pouring herself into night classes. Each rejection, a turned-down job, a cold interview stings, threatening to pull her back into the dark. But defeat doesn't stick like it used to. It's as if each loss awakens a deeper stubbornness inside her, refusing to accept invisibility again. Within her new world, Emma draws closer to allies who lift her from the ruins. Nicholas, her business instructor, recognizes her intensity and helps her hone it into resilience. He tells of his own shattered dreams, reminding her that brokenness is not the end. Julia, a single mother from night school, becomes both confidant and mirror. Their long conversations over cheap coffee become therapy, proof that connection heals. Rachel, forever steady, refuses to let Emma drown in self-pity. She offers both tough love, "you owe them nothing, Em," and constant, patient presence. With their support, Emma slowly gathers the courage to confront her tormentors, not with bitterness, but with relentless truth. The courtroom, battleground for justice, the lawsuit becomes Emma's crucible. The courtroom is tense, thick with unspoken accusations and glances that cut deeper than any knife. On one side, Robert and Megan huddled together paint her as cold, obsessive, and impossible to love. Her parents' faces are stone, every wrinkle a reminder of years of dismissal. Sarah, Emma's tireless lawyer, becomes her shield and voice. With clinical precision, Sarah lays out every thread of deception and every wound inflicted. She reads aloud the emails, the messages, the evidence of exclusion and manipulation, each word peeling away the lies her family tried to bury. For the first time, Emma feels seen, her pain acknowledged, not as melodrama, but as the weight of truth. Emma's voice, cracking but determined, shifts the room when she testifies. I stand here not only for myself, but for every person ever erased by those who should have cared. Julia testifies too, her stories of witnessing Emma's struggle breaking through the final walls of indifference. Even her father's confession, halting and regretful. Maybe we forgot how to see you, is not redemption, but it is recognition. For Emma, this moment is not closure, but a reckoning. When the judge rules in her favor, there's no cheer, just an overwhelming release. The damages and property awarded are secondary. The real victory is intangible. Emma's dignity restored, her wounds validated, her voice no longer silenced. As she exits the courthouse, hands squeezed tight by Rachel, Emma breathes the cool air of something that finally feels like freedom. Yet she knows this is not the end. Healing is not a verdict, but a journey, and every step forward is earned. With her head high and resolve burning new, Emma prepares to build from the ashes, not as the forgotten daughter or betrayed fiancée, but as a woman reborn, carrying scars that have become her armor. The story moves into how Emma channels this hard-won strength into lifting not only herself, but also the lives of others. The road to rebuilding is filled with new challenges, but for the first time, it is Emma who writes her destiny. Emma's world no longer revolves around the ruins of yesterday. Instead, each sunrise finds her skin tingling with the fear and promise of starting anew. Justice has been served, but closure is elusive. The ache of betrayal lingers, flaring up in quiet moments. Yet there's a new current beneath everything now: empowerment, a stubborn resilience that refuses to stay caged. She and Rachel, once just survivors of emotional storms, now become architects. Their living room transforms into ground zero for Summit Environmental Solutions, not merely a business, but a declaration that Emma's voice, wisdom, and compassion matter. Every morning, Emma stares down the fear that she might fail again. Sometimes it's paralyzing. Sometimes it's fuel. Obstacles arrive predictably, partners who walk away, suppliers eager to exploit inexperience, finances that shrink to alarming lows. There's a night when Emma discovers a trusted early investor has pulled out, leaving her and Rachel at the brink of collapse. She relives agonizingly those first feelings of abandonment, but this time she calls a team meeting, sharing her doubts with Julia and the rest. Their support rekindles the fire within. Vulnerability, once her undoing, becomes her strength. What began as an act of self-preservation grows into one of generosity. Emma establishes a scholarship fund for women facing adversity, each application a letter of hope, each recipient a living proof that pain, when acknowledged, can become purpose. Julia, no longer just a colleague but a close friend, introduces Emma to Clara, a young single mother who sees her own reflection in Emma's journey. Clara's story fired unjustly, ostracized by family, struggling to rebuild resonates with Emma. Mentoring Clara, Emma relives her history, but as giver rather than victim. Together, they celebrate small wins: Clara's first daycare placement, her acceptance to community college. Emma notices how the act of lifting others mends pieces inside herself she never thought would heal. At local women's workshops, Emma stands before a room of strangers turned sisters, her voice trembling not from fear, but the weight of stories shared. Each handshake and thank you reinforces the truth she long denied. She matters, and so does everyone who has ever been made invisible. Wounds from the past resurface, as they often do, in the least expected moments. At a business recognition event, Emma glimpses Megan and their mother among the crowd, unsure and meek, watching her be celebrated not for success, but for heart. Later that night, Emma receives a message. "I'm sorry. We failed you. We see that now." Signed simply, Mom and Megan. Emma's first impulse is bitterness. Too little, too late. But as she lies awake, replaying the journey from Montana's icy loneliness to this moment of recognition, something softens. Forgiveness, she realizes, is not absolution for their actions, but liberation for herself. She responds gently, setting boundaries, yet letting go of the poison. "I wish you healing. My life is different now. I hope you find peace as well." With her business thriving and her family redefined, not by blood, but by choice and respect, Emma envelops herself in a network of mentors, friends, and those she once called strangers. Earl, the gas station clerk, appears with a simple card at her office door. "You found your way. Now help others find theirs." One afternoon, Emma and her team host a celebration. In the crowd, faces beam: Julia, Clara, Rachel, Nicholas, and dozens of others touched by her ripple of compassion. Laughter, hope, and community fill the air. For the first time, Emma allows herself to bask in it, not as an outsider, but as the creator of belonging, standing before her new chosen family. Emma's story has come full circle. She is no longer defined by betrayal nor by invisibility. Her strength, tempered by loss and bolstered by love, has become her gift back to the world. And yet, as she looks ahead, Emma knows the journey of healing is never truly finished. There will always be new wounds, new chapters, new hands to hold. But tonight, surrounded by those she has lifted and who have lifted her, Emma is finally gloriously home. And as the stage lights fade, a new letter begins. What would you say to the version of yourself that first felt invisible? Share your story below, because your voice too deserves to be heard. The night is quiet now, the kind of hush that signals not emptiness but peace. Emma sits by her window, city lights twinkling like distant memories. She holds a pen, the paper in front of her trembling with anticipation and old ghosts. Her hand hesitates. Then, with a breath, she begins to write, asterisk, dear younger me. Asterisk, I wish I could reach through time and hold you in the blizzard, whispering that you are not invisible, not broken, not to blame. I see you shivering in that Montana night, abandoned by those you trusted most, clutching scraps of hope like lifelines. I remember your tears, your desperate calls that went unanswered, your longing for warmth and faces always turned away. You don't know this yet, But the pain you feel, the ache of betrayal, won't destroy you. It will shape you. Every wound, every slight, every night you spent questioning your worth was never a reflection of your failure, but theirs. You are strong not because you never broke, but because you always found the courage to gather your pieces. I remember how you looked. For home and other people, I wish you'd known that home was always waiting quietly inside yourself. Asterisk, dear future me. Asterisk, tonight I write to remind you, do not let the scars harden your heart. Remember the ones who reached for you in your darkness, Rachel's steady presence, Carla's gentle understanding, Julia's laughter through hard nights, Earl's quiet words at the crossroad. Cherish the chosen family you've built, and never hesitate to be that anchor for another lost soul. Forgiveness is not weakness. Letting go of bitterness toward those who harmed you, your mother, Megan, even Robert, was not a gift for them, but for yourself. Carry their regrets like feathers, not stones. Your story is proof that release is not forgetting, but forging freedom. Let the lessons of love and loss make you soft where you could have become bitter. Welcome new challenges as invitations to grow. When you falter and you will return to the truth, your value is not conditional. It lives within. Unbreakable. Emma closes her journal, fingers tracing the words as if sealing a promise. Suddenly, laughter spills from the next room. Clara, the once struggling single mother whom Emma mentored, is reading a letter aloud to her own daughter, a message of hope passed forward. Rachel sets 2 mugs on the table, her eyes warm with pride. Nicholas and Julia discuss a new community project, their voices dancing with ambition and possibility. For a moment, Emma is simply present, wrapped in the embrace of this found family. She rises and joins them, the years of loneliness now woven into the fabric of connection and meaning. Her pain exists, yes, but it has grown roots in compassion, in courage, in the impact she makes every day for others. As the video fades, Emma's voice returns stronger now, yet gentle. If you ever find yourself lost in the cold, doubting your worth, know this: you are not invisible. Your story matters. Write to your past, speak to your future, and let your scars become the bridges by which others find their way home. What would you say to the person you once were, the one who felt forgotten? Share your letter below. Let your voice, like Emma's, be heard. Because healing begins long before the hurt is gone, and every story can become a light for someone. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today's video. If Emma's story touched you in any way, please help our channel grow by hitting the like button to support us in creating more meaningful content, sharing this video with your friends and family so they can also find strength in this story, subscribing to our channel. Subscribe so you don't miss any new stories and inspiring journeys ahead, and most importantly, leaving a comment with your thoughts, feelings, or suggestions. Your feedback is the driving force that helps us improve and grow. Everyday. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. See you in the next video.